Good morning. Thanks for joining us and welcome back to the Sell More Printing webinar. This is episode 10 of the Sell More Printing webinar. This webinar is aimed at helping you grow your print business using today's best marketing tactics. I'm Rachel Neese. I'm the marketing director here at Marketing Ideas for Printers. And today we're going to look at humanizing your brand. Now, it sounds a little scary, but I promise it's not. It's actually a really good topic for you today. So here's kind of what you're in for. First, we're going to look at the why, as in why is it important for you to humanize your brand? And remember, when I use the word brand, what I really mean is your company or all of the interactions and touch points that your customers and prospects have with your printing company. We'll also talk through some of the changes in the marketing world and how those changes are really fueling the why behind this idea of humanizing your brand. And then from there, we'll tackle some of the how, and I'll offer just some practical ways you can implement what we're talking about here and hopefully provide you with some solid takeaways. So, why does being human win? And what does that even mean when we say being human? Now, before I get too far into this, it's important that I let you know that most of this webinar message is based around this book. The book is called Marketing Rebellion, The Most Human Company Wins. A couple of weeks ago, I had the privilege to hear the author, Mark Schaefer, speak at the Social Media Marketing World Conference in San Diego, California. And really, there were several great takeaways from that conference, but Mark's talk about being more human with your brand really resonated with me. And I came home from that conference just knowing that I wanted to pass along some of the highlights that he talked about to you guys. So if you want to learn more about Mark or get the book, I encourage you to check out his website, businessesgrow.com/rebellion. Remember, it's plural businesses. He made that mistake already the first time I went looking for it. From there, you can order the book, get the free workbook, learn more, all that good stuff. I had the opportunity to connect with Mark after the conference and then before this webinar to ask him if I could reference his book and talk about some of the tips he says. And he was all, absolutely, go for it. So I'm excited to share with you some of the tips that he has in that book for you. So the best way for you to understand why humanizing your brand is so important is for you to take a look at this 2-minute video I'm going to show you. This video really kind of sums up the why very, very nicely. So if you just give me a second here, I'm going to pop over and play this video for you, and then I'll meet you back here and we'll keep going. So every time I watch that video, I get a little bit more excited, and you'll understand more as I get into this a little bit further. But first, let's kind of break down this idea of rebellion that he talks about in the video. In the book, he references that there's 3 rebellions, and currently we're in the 3rd one. So where did this rebellion start? Schaefer explains that the changing marketing landscape is the result of previous rebellions by consumers. So let's kind of walk through those rebellions. The first rebellion that he mentions is the end of lies. Advertising got its start by making some pretty outrageous promises. I mean, if you think about it, there were things like, invisible swim aids and asthma curing cigarettes, and probably the most famous of all is, snake oil, and how they came up with that snake oil salesman kind of reference. And as time went on, consumers got fed up, and rightfully so, and demanded that the claims made were honest and regulated, and that's how things like, the Federal Trade Commission got started. And they ultimately rebelled. From there, marketing went another direction and eventually led to the second rebellion, which was the end of secrets. Now, although the word secrets sounds just as bad as lies, it actually was a step in the right direction, because at least they weren't making those outrageous claims. But the information that consumers were looking for really was hidden behind the walls of, our companies. So think of it this way. If you think back to what sales and marketing was before the internet, if you wanted to buy a product, how would you research it or find out more about it? Well, you had to meet with a salesperson because they possessed all of that secret product and pricing knowledge. You'd inquire about the quality, the price, and perhaps probably see several different retailers or suppliers face to face in an effort, to ultimately come to your buying decision. But with the internet making that our shopping world, a whole lot smaller, consumers, started to rebel. They wanted and expected to access the information they needed about your products and services online. And they wanted to be able to quickly and easily compare, their options online, between competitors, and ultimately demanding an end to that secret knowledge that you were hiding behind your company. So, as a side note, this is why we continually encourage you to put your pricing online, because no pricing on your website gives the impression that you're keeping a secret. It means you're keeping a secret from your audience. And if your print buyers feel like you're keeping a secret, well, then they can't trust you. And if they can't trust you, then they won't buy from you. And obviously, that's not what we want. So that's just another little prompt for you to be thinking about getting that pricing on your website, so everything is out in the open for your customers. Finally, the last and the current rebellion that Schaefer notes is the end of control. So what does that mean? He referenced this a little bit, but 2/3 of your marketing is happening without you. So your customers are finding out about you not in face-to-face sales meetings, but through your content, through online reviews, and word of mouth referrals from other customers. Consumers are becoming harder and harder to reach. Just think of, how many less ads we actually see today through things like digital ad blockers, streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, that kind of thing, and on-demand podcast or ad-free radio, Spotify and satellite radio, those things that don't have ads, because they're paying more, and it's getting harder for companies to get their name and their marketing in front of consumers. The last one there says customers have become the marketers. So consumers are beginning to attach to the relevant, believable stories of a brand and then carry that message on to others. So the best marketing comes when your customers are spreading good reviews to their friends and family, and that's the kind of marketing that consumers are looking for. So because of this, how is your company going to stand out in this sea of content, right? Everybody's pushing content now. And as you saw earlier in the video, There's really one simple way, and that's to be more human. So I hope you're kind of grasping this idea of why humanizing your brand is so important. But now that you know the why, you got to know the how, right? So how are you going to be more human? So we're going to tackle that next. I'm going to walk through 3 ways to be more human. The first one is this: embrace your role as the guide. Now, we've talked about this before, but this is a common theme among many of the marketing leaders like Donald Miller of StoryBrand, Marcus Sheridan, and Mark Schaefer. In any of the marketing you do, your customer is the hero. You play the part of the guide. So everything you build, everything you create is to help build and tell their story, not your own. Think of it like this. In The Karate Kid, Daniel LaRusso had Mr. Miyagi, and in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker had Yoda, and in The Lord of the Rings, Frodo Baggins had Gandalf. And the role of the guide in all of these movies was to prepare and help the hero with their journey using their own knowledge, wisdom, and position. However, if you think about these movies, none of these movies are about the guides. They're about the heroes. But in the end, we all know that the heroes would never be able to do what they did without the guide. Daniel LaRusso never would have beaten Johnny at the end of that movie without the help of Mr. Miyagi guiding him. Same with Frodo and Luke. So that's the idea, but make sure that your marketing reflects your role appropriately, that you're not writing all this stuff and doing all this marketing trying to make yourself the hero. Ask yourself, is this about me and my company, or is this about guiding my print buyer for the next step of their journey to allow them to be the hero? That's what you want to be focusing on. The next one is believe, belong, become. So fun fact, my older brother is a Chi Alpha regional missionary, and he has this t-shirt that says believe, belong, become. And this slogan, really the same slogan could work for a marketing mantra as well. First, your customers and prospects need to be able to believe your message and story, but then they need to feel like they're a part of that story, that they belong, or that they're a part of your mission until they ultimately become a customer. So how do you make your audience feel like that they belong? So I'm going to kind of walk you through a couple things that would help. First, let them into your world through video. Next, set a goal to call a certain amount of customers each week, month, or year. And last, create content, video or otherwise, around their needs. So the first one is video. Just think of like fun things you can do, like unique jobs that you're working on. I'm not sure if you're following our Facebook page, but if you are or you aren't, please like our Facebook page. But recently on our Facebook page, we added a video of a printer that had added graphics to an above ground water tank, creating the world's largest paint can, and how cool it was to be kind of invited into their world and see them actually doing this print job of adding these graphics to this, giant water tank. It doesn't have to be that elaborate, but maybe you can just do a fun postcard thing or a unique, project or flyer or anything. People want to see those things and just kind of get into your world a little bit. So think of little snippets you could be doing through video that way. Secondly, behind the scenes tours of your production floor. Most people don't know what's involved in print production, so you could make little snippets just on your phone of the different operations you do, from design to pre-press to actual printing production to bindery, and let them see. I remember years ago when I worked at a printing company, Express Press, here in Fargo, that was founded by the late Mike Stevens. When I first made it back into the bindery area and saw how the folding machines worked and how a printing press actually ran, and those things were mesmerizing to me. And now I've been in printing for a very long time, but think of your customers that don't know about those things, how much interest they're going to take in just those short little videos. And then lastly, do like fun employee events. So maybe having a pizza party to celebrate an employee, or work anniversary, anything like that that's just kind of fun and unique that you're doing as a company. Somebody grab the phone, make a little snippet, and just invite your customers in to be a part of your world. That makes your whole company and each one of the people in your company be more human, and that your customers can latch onto. Remember that these are not to be expensive commercials for your business. They're just meant to be personal human touches with your audience. They're short, they're unpolished, just as if your customer was right there with you. And as you become more comfortable, you could even do these, live through Facebook Live or Instagram Live. Those are some other options for you. The second one you can help your consumers and customers belong is through calling. So you create relationships with people you talk to. I know that's kind of a revelation for some of us, but in our digital world, we sometimes forget that relationships require talking. Automation is good. I mean, we sell solutions here at Marketing Ideas for Printers to help you automate things and make things easier. But what is the reason behind automation, right? The reason that we automate what can be automated is to free you up to create those human personal relationships with your audience. Those are the relationships that you need to be able to sell more printing in the future. So see if you can, set a goal to call one customer a day for nothing more than the purpose to just be human. Hey there, just checking in with you. How are things going at Acme Builders, or those kind of things. And it'll probably feel awkward at first, but those connections are priceless in a world where your customers do the best marketing for you on your behalf. They're going to speak of those relationships to their friends and families. Lastly, create relevant content that hits the mark. So you want to speak to their needs. We've talked about they ask, you answer before, where they ask the questions and you answer the questions in the most human way possible, through video, through blogs, through content, those types of things where you can answer their questions and keep nothing secret. So I've touched on this in previous webinars, but I have a couple more tips or a couple more tools that I haven't mentioned before that I want to walk you through and show you how they work. So the first one is answer the public. So I am going to pop off my screen here and bring you over to my internet browser and show you how this works. So this is answerthepublic.com. And it's just a simple website that will show you what people are searching for online around certain keywords. So you'll see this kind of impatient, freaky looking guy. I'm not sure what that's about, but he's there. So anyway, what you'll do is you'll just come down here, and in the search box, I've done a couple of these, but let's put in, digital printing. If I put in digital printing, it's going to generate a list here of questions and all sorts of results, and I'll show you how that works. It's going to take just a second. Okay, so here you'll see questions that people are searching for around digital printing. So like, look over here, can digital printing use Pantone? Well, that's a great question. You could answer that through blogs and content. If you come down a little bit more, what is digital printing on fabric, on shirts, printing paper? You see there's a lot of questions around what types of materials work with digital printing. So that's something else that you could create. If you follow this down, so this wheel or this graph is based on questions. If you keep going down, it does another graph based on prepositions, with, near, without, those types of things. And it says a lot of near me. So this is another indication of why it's important to put in like your city and your state and those types of things into your SEO keywords. And then keep going, it's going to talk about some comparisons. What's the difference? Digital printing versus thermal printing or traditional printing. All of these things you could cover in different types of content or videos for your audience. Keep going, and then it's going to list them all by alphabetical. So you can be looking through here and you can be able to pull out some of these keywords that you can rank for in the titles of your content and on the back end of your website as well. I'm going to just scroll back up here and I'll do one more with you. What I would suggest is you just click on this new search here to create another one. And that scary guy comes back. So if I just put in here like a product, I'm just going to come down here to business or brochures. Okay. What I would suggest is, go through this and put in the products that you sell or you want to write about, and then base your content and your titles around the questions that are here. So, where our brochures can be used, why are brochures an effective marketing tool? Well, that'd be great. 8, 9 reasons why brochures are an effective marketing tool. Well, when they come in and type that question into their search engine, your content has a much greater chance of popping up because you're answering their question directly. It's talking about how they're printed. Anyway, you get the idea. There's tons of ideas that you can glean from this tool that just helps you to build, relevant content for your audience and just tells you the best keywords for you to use around that topic. One thing I will let you know is Answer the Public is actually a paid subscription, but it gives you like so many free searches per day. So you can come on here and do a few. I'm not even sure what the limit is, but once you reach your limit, it'll just say you've reached your daily limit of free searches. So then you'd have to come back the next day if you don't want to pay for the pro version. So the other one I want to show you is this Quora, which is an online form. To get into here, just go to Quora.com. It'll probably ask you to create an account. It's free. You just put your email and stuff in there. And then it'll walk you through to ask you to select some interests that you're interested in. That really doesn't matter for what I'm showing you here. You can feel free to do that. I just plunked over here. You'll see some of the interests I selected. Like I said, that doesn't matter for what I want to show you. What I want to bring you to is the search page. So if you just start at the top and in the search bar there, type in like direct mail, it's going to bring you to a little bit different search page. So then you'll get this sidebar over here on the left, and over here in the topics, I want you to put in things related to printing. So I'll put in direct mail. I'm going to put in direct mail marketing I saw when I was typing that one in. If you do every door direct mail, I saw that one. You could put that. And then same thing here. You could put in your products like brochures and flyers and business cards and all of those topics that you can find and search by them. So then what you're going to do is, once you have your topics listed here on the left, come up here online to the form and type things like I need. Okay, this is going to bring up questions that people are asking on these online forms. So I need postcards. So you could write something about postcards. Here, what are some unavoidable use cases of why we still need a regular snail postal airmail? Okay, well, there you can talk about why direct mail is still important. Yeah, okay. So you can scroll through there. What companies offer on-demand printing and mailing services with an API? Well, if you offer that, you can write a blog piece around that content. So that's one word. You could do I need. Another one is help. Okay, here, know of any best helpful practices for tracking direct mail response. My guess is you guys do know some helpful practices for tracking direct mail response. So you could build some content around these questions that they're asking. Here, they're just asking simple questions about how to create a direct mail campaign. How does direct mail marketing help companies grow in their industry? Here, well, 5 tips, on how direct mail marketing helps companies grow in their industry. So that's just some ideas of how you can be looking to build that content around the actual questions that your audience is asking. So look for things like, I'm going to pop over here to back to my slides. Look for things like in Quora, when you're searching, use words like I need, help, problem with, does anyone know, and then search for those questions in the form. And your goal is not to create an account on the form and then answer all those questions about how great your printing company is. That's really not going to help, because then you're trying to be the hero. What the goal is just to find out and do a little research about the questions they're asking, and then create your content and do those things around those questions. Okay, number 3 is build up your social proof. So consumers are looking to other consumers for buying direction. Remember how we said that consumers are now the marketers? Schaefer says it as a brand is no longer what we tell the consumer it is what the consumers tell each other. That means you need to provide plenty of social proof by using their words to build you up through testimonials, through case studies, those types of things. So to make them more human, again, try and pull in some of that video. Try using your phone, shooting some quick videos. When one of those customers that you've built a relationship with comes into your shop to pick up their order, just ask an open-ended question like, hey, why did you choose Acme Printing today? And can I grab this on video? And by grabbing just a 30-second video quote, then you can use it with permission, of course, all over in your marketing. And the best part about that is it's your customers' words, not your own words boasting about yourself. So lastly, let me leave you with this. Being human is a good thing. So instead of looking at this as one more thing to do in the world of marketing, consider this as a relief. This is why I get really excited about seeing that video, because you don't have to feel overwhelmed by trying to create or say, markety things all the time. You have permission to be human. You have permission to be real. You can focus on being genuinely helpful instead of, calculating your every move all the time to try and make a sale. Instead, you can just work on building relationships built on empathy, on trust, and on integrity. And that's what marketing should be anyway. So that's good news. I'm excited about that, that we can showcase our empathy, our trust, and our integrity in our marketing. That's pretty much what I had for you today. I want to let you know of an important announcement. First of all, these Sell More Printing webinars will be switching to a monthly rotation instead of twice a month. So they will be held on the second Wednesdays of the month at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's everything. So thanks for joining us for tips to help you sell more printing. Our next webinar will be Wednesday, May 8th, 2019 at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you have questions or comments, or you have future topic requests, questions that you have that you would like me to cover in an upcoming webinar, please feel free to reach out. Give us a call at 701-241-9204, or you can email me directly at rachel.neese@mi4p.com. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope to see you right back here on May 8th. Have a great day.